Hi, Kieran. How's it going?
It's going good, thanks. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. And such a pleasure to be able to speak to you for this movie because, like I think everyone else, I had such a fun time with it. So I am curious, though, obviously, how soon, be it going through the casting process, how soon in that sort of thing did you find out that not only were you playing an Asgardian, but obviously the son of a character like Heimdall?
That's a funny thing that you asked there because what happened is when I auditioned for the movie, obviously with Marvel, they're so secretive, especially on the first audition. They didn't tell me what I was auditioning for. All I knew was that it was a Marvel film, so I had no idea that it was Thor or anything. So I'm not sure really. I think one time my agent told me further through the casting process when it got really cut down that it was Thor. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started figuring out, okay, so who could I play in Thor? Because I wasn't like one of the background people. I knew I had speaking and I was going to speak and I would have lines. So then I was kind of thinking maybe am I the younger version of someone or am I someone's son? And then I kind of figured out, oh, maybe I'm Heimdall's son. And then my manager told me I got the part and I was correct.
Oh, that I can only imagine how awesome that must have been. And did you get a chance to talk with Idris Elba at all before working on the film, or have you guys had a chance to maybe connect since?
We did actually get to speak while I was working on the film. And one of the main things that I was so excited about was not only being able to be a son, but I didn't know that I was going to have, I knew I didn't have any scenes with him. So I kind of assumed that I wasn't going to get to meet him. But one time when I was doing my schoolwork, my dad went out to take a phone call and then he came back in and he was like, oh, the crew want you to meet Idris Elba. He's on set right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went on set with my dad and then they introduced me to him and it was surreal. I had such a good time. He's such a cool guy, and I'm so glad I got to meet him.
Oh wow, what an experience! And I can imagine, of course, a couple of actors you did get to work with. I think quite a bit in the film, Chris Hemsworth and Christian Bale. So, what was that experience like? And obviously, as an actor, up and coming actor, did you learn a lot from those two? Would you say?
Oh yeah, I definitely learned a lot from them, and I think it meant a lot to me as well because I mean I followed Chris Hemsworth's journey as Thor throughout the MCU from the first Thor film throughout the Avengers films, and I've always really admired Christian Bale as an actor. Obviously from him in The Dark Knight, and obviously him in Terminator. So I was really excited when I found out that I would get to work with them, and I learned so much from them just by working with them, and also I think just by watching them as well, watching how they work. And I think when I was doing some scenes with Chris, we kind of played around with the lines a bit, and I learned a lot from him, with improvisation. With Christian Bale, I think it was a lot about how he embodied his character. Like he's terrifying in this movie, and being with him and acting side by side with him is crazy.
Yeah, again, I can only imagine. And of course, another I think, a standout scene comes quite late in the film. You and obviously Jamie Alexander, you get that little training sort of montage. So, how much fun was that to work on? And did that require, again, a short scene? But was there a lot of preparation for that one as you guys are fighting and sparring there?
There was a lot of preparation for that one actually. Soon after I got to Australia, I got to work with that pretty much straight away. I mean, that was the first scene I filmed, even though it's at the end of the movie. It was the first scene that I filmed. And so I guess I was a bit nervous because it was the first scene that I was going to film for the film. And I was having to use sword training and stuff like that. So I think the most fun part with it was getting to do stunts and the preparation for it with Jamie. And we had so much fun together. I was so glad that I got to meet her. And yeah, we just had a blast there.
That's awesome. And I think we've got to talk about the final battle in the film because obviously you, the rest of the kids in that sequence, what an awesome thing to be part of. Obviously getting powered up by Thor and then taking part in that massive battle. So what was that like for you to shoot? And I'm guessing it must have been quite a long sequence to get through because there's so many moving parts to that.
Mm. It was a long sequence to get through, but it wasn't like all in one day kind of thing. It was kind of like scattered throughout different like weeks and stuff like that. But that was crazy. When I read that, I was reading the script. I remember when I was in my apartment, and I was just like, "Oh my days! I cannot wait to film this." And I remember going set that day. There was blue screen in this huge room all around. There was like a kind of cracked, rocky kind of floor. We did the running sequence in there where we have the power film and running, like, and then we start fighting and stuff like that. And then we kind of did other days where we were just doing some stuff with the fighting. Some of them were choreographed sequences. Some of them were just us, with the weapons fighting the air, really. I mean, there was nothing there. So, I mean, when I watched it back on the monitor, it looked a bit weird, but in the movie, it looks great. So,
Oh, fantastic. And I know with a big movie like this, it's always inevitable that there's going to be some big scenes that maybe don't end up in the final cut. But was there anything for you that you worked on that you were maybe disappointed didn't make it in there? Obviously, you get a great role in the film, but anything maybe extra you would like people to have seen?
Not really, to be honest. I'm pretty sure all of my scenes made it into the film. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of my scenes. I can't wait. I really do think all of my scenes made it into the film. I can't. I don't think there's any. Oh wait, no. So okay, the bedroom scene, the bit where you first see me. Well, second time you see me. There, that was kind of shortened. So there was a scene there where I had a conversation with my mum, and then that was just shortened, so they just cut that bit out. But apart from that, all of the scenes that have been made into the film.
Oh, wow, how awesome, especially with this obviously being your first, obviously, big film project. So what was it like in that sense, working with a filmmaker like obviously Taika Waititi? You know, he's now really cut his teeth in Hollywood. This is his second Thor film. Must have been a blast for you to see him work and to learn from him too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't imagine when I watched Thor Ragnarok that I ever would have dreamed about being able to work with Taika in the sequel to that movie. So working with him was so great. He's such a funny, cool guy. He's really creative. He made such a fun environment on set. There was always singing and dancing. He was always playing songs, especially Guns N' Roses songs. So yeah, I learned a lot from him just by watching him, the way he directs, and there's just the way he kind of the way he thinks and thinks about the storyline of the film and the detail that goes into making this film. It really gave me insight into the kind of things that he done when he was doing Ragnarok as well. So I'm so glad that I got to work with him.
Amazing. And I've got to ask you, obviously, look into the future. This film definitely sets the stage, I think, for Axl to be a very important character in the MCU. So have you given any, I know it's very secretive with Marvel, but have you got any thoughts where you'd maybe like to take the character moving forwards?
I have absolutely no idea what Marvel's going to do. I'm not sure at the moment. I mean, I'm just going to wait and see. But yeah,
Fingers crossed. Yeah. And it must be exciting to think, though, when you look at what is on the way, things like Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars, there's always rumors about Young Avengers. You could be in any or all of those. So as an actor, that's got to be
I would
pretty exciting.
absolutely love to be in any of those films. I would love to, but I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, like I said, fingers crossed. And another big scene, of course, I think people have been talking a lot about is the floating head scene. I think it's just come back now into Disney Plus. They've obviously polished the VFX up a little bit on that. But well, I'm more interested rather than that of how that was for you to shoot. Like, how did that work for you? Where obviously were you in a booth doing that, or was it on set? What was that experience like for you? Because it's a cool scene.
Yeah. So it was funny how they did it actually, because I thought I was going to be with the other actors when I did it. But so what happened was I came to set and I was the only person member there because how they filmed it was I was kind of sitting in this chair and the camera was like here on my face and it was just focusing on me. And Tyke was there saying the other lines as I said my lines. And so then he showed me the shot after of how they filmed it because I wasn't there when they filmed it. They filmed it separately to when I filmed it and they kind of put my face in that scene when they filmed it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I thought it came together really well. And that whole communication and the bond between obviously Thor and Axl. Axl is a new character, but it feels like that bond has just been there forever. So you guys did such a great job, and it must have been fun to explore that with Chris.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. It was really fun. And I also think because Axl is a new character, like you said, and he wasn't in the comics, it was really fun to be able to play around with that and with Chris and with Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Axl, as you said, he is, as we both said, a new character, not from the comics. But did you turn to the comics for any research at all before working on the film, even if it was just to maybe get to know Thor a bit better, or were the movies maybe more helpful in that respect?
Yeah, I mean, I know I definitely looked into the Mighty Thor comics by Jason Aaron, but I also looked in a lot more into Heimdall as well, because I did realize that Heimdall doesn't reference to having family members in the MCU. So I kind of looked into his abilities, his powers from the movies and in the comics, just to kind of see maybe what Axl could inherit, maybe, and like we saw in the film, he did. And that was kind of more so my preparation because there was nothing for me to kind of go, okay, Axel's like this, maybe I should try this because obviously, like I said, I kind of looked more to Heimdall.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Well, Kieron, it's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for your time. This is a great character. I know fans have really responded positively, which doesn't always happen with a newly created character. And I think everyone's excited to see what comes next, as you must be. So like I said, thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you, Josh. It was nice speaking.
Great to chat with you. Cheers, Kieron.